Okay. We are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another streaming session at the studios. Just setting up a Logic session here. We've got No Man's Sky, a really popular sci-fi game, great game. And we're going to be doing some live scoring to this, a few select scenes from this. But the main thing I want to play around with today is the Logic MIDI controller manipulation. God, that's a terrible way to say that. We're going to turn the guitar into a MIDI controller. For anyone who doesn't love playing this or isn't a great piano player, but you're a guitar player, it can be really frustrating sometimes trying to find the ideas you want on keyboard, and especially if you're much more comfortable with guitars. So I've got this plugin that I bought called Midi Guitar 2. It's an incredible program. It's essentially going to allow us to trigger any kind of instrument, VST, virtual instrument that we have in a Logic session or in any DAW with the guitar. So I'll give you a run through of how that works once we get fired up. But that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be playing around with a bunch of MIDI. This is really for people who want to look at game scoring or composition for film and TV or instrumental composing for any kind of visual media. That's kind of what we're focusing on. Okay, so there we go. Oh, that's better. I had a delay. I had an echo. I've still got an echo, but it's a bit better. So what we're going to be looking at is plugging essentially an electric guitar into an interface, which I've got over there to the right-hand side. We're plugging in an electric guitar with just a standard guitar lead. And that's fine by itself. And if I just play, there's like a little delay bounce. I don't know if that's coming through. It's weird that's... Let's have a quick look at our preferences. Looks pretty good. Let's check. Wow. It's actually better at 128. Okay. There we go. So that's what it sounds like. And if we just record that by itself, I've got a little bit of verb on it. So just a really standard electric guitar sound. But what I want to do is use this plugin. So I've loaded in the electric guitar, and then within the electric guitar channel, I've loaded up this instrument or this plugin, and this is what we're going to be messing with today. So this is called Midi Guitar 2 by a company called Jam Origin. I think Seb Strangio put me onto this. I can't remember. It sounds like the sort of thing he would have put me onto. And so I did a test run of it and, had a little play with it. And it's incredible because what it allows us to do is to load this plugin into a channel like this electric guitar, turn it on, and then loading plugins. And then if I bring up a synth, something like this, the guitar is now going to trigger the synth. So if we try this. that kind of sound. And so anything we change on this, so here's the cutoff for the synth. So if I make it really bright, or go back to making it dull. You know, with the cutoff, taking the filter down. Now we haven't put any. It's got vibrato on it as well, so. that's a bit crazy. What I want to do with this is look at No Man's Sky, which is this sci-fi game, and if we run through this, this is such a great game. But you can imagine, you've got this character who essentially explores many different planets, and you fly around, different galaxies, landing on different planets. But it's so moody and it's such a cinematic game. And what I thought would be great is to try out this MIDI idea. I mean, what happens if we play here like this and we... SMD 2022, hello, welcome. So this is the idea. I wanted to take a cinematic game like No Man's Sky and kind of play with some of these synthy textures. And what I'm really testing out here is how responsive this MIDI plugin is. I mean, this is a pretty smooth, this is a sine pad basically. It's called Shine Pad. It's very smooth, it's very ambient, so it works well with those chords, you know. So that's, I think the way it works with the synth pads is so great. And I'm essentially playing chord clusters. Again, if I take off the MIDI guitar, if I turn the MIDI guitar plugin off, you've got this, which is fine. It's lovely. But it's really quite dull. it's just a plain guitar sound. It's the transformation into this synth that I find the most interesting. Now, we can play single notes on this too and just trigger this kind of pad sound. So let's see what happens if we take this guy into like a wormhole sort of thing. Let's just play something like, you know, in no specific key. We'll sort of do a... Okay. Why isn't that working? Interesting. Where have you gone? Where have you gone? Huh. Oh, there it is. Oh, the cutoff was down. That's more like it. Okay, so wormhole. Yeah, we'll make this like a little trippy. Why aren't you working? Why aren't you playing? Ah, still working, this little guy. So we can do something like that that's a little bit more mysterious, a little bit more atonal. Let's try that as he goes into the wormhole. So that's the first preset in this. This is the Roland Xenology plugin, and we've got some alien encounters going on. What happens if we? What I want to find out is what happens if we go to some shorter sounds. Oh, that's kind of cool. Oh. It's a little bit... Okay. So that's giving us that kind of Hans Zimmer sound. And this would be great if he starts taking off. So that works more as a single note kind of thing. We've got just grand fat muslin. That's kind of cool. Tracking the single note stuff is going to be the interesting grizzly bass. Tracks the bass pretty well, surprisingly. It's not catching everything, but then again, I'm probably not playing it completely. That's great. I mean, they're just such great tools for film composing or game composing. That's a little bit too boring. It's definitely too boring. Interesting, more like a key sound. No, but it's a poly synth, so that's. Oh, what about? Oh, eerie. And what happens if we put some verb on this? Like a bit of a. It sounds like Jacob Collier. It sounds like I've gone into Jacob Collier territory. Like I'm about to do a cappella version of Isn't She Lovely? It's such a cool instrument though. Okay. Brassy VA. Oh, that's kind of nice. Now that's nice for this particular kind of game. And so if we it's not tracking the chords particularly well, but it's a nice little lead kind of instrument. How fast does it track? So if we were to play along to this. So that's kind of a nice little. That's kind of a nice little lead instrument. It's tracking quite well. Whoa. And of course we've got the keyboard here, you know, so what you know, obviously some melodies we can play. changes the way you play them. You know, playing it on a keyboard and playing it on a guitar are different things. That's a great sound. I mean, this little plugin from Roland is so much fun. Trance synth, that's got a pulse to it? Yeah. Yeah, they get a bit messy when they got a little pulse to them, unless we're absolutely... Ooh. Oh, so that could be... Pluckier. It's fun. I mean, you can see this game is so perfectly suited to synths and electronic VSTs, because it's basically you exploring different planets, strange looking planets, flying around with a jetpack, you know, encountering strange creatures like that. I mean, what is that? Spaceship landed. Who's that guy? Playing around with that tritone there, trying to get something spooky happening. Tracks the wobble. Wow, that's great. Hey, Nostalgic, great to see you, bud. How cool is... Okay, so just to catch you up, check this out. I'm plugging an electric guitar, standard electric guitar, into my interface, and then I'm loading up this plugin called Midi Guitar 2, which basically turns this into a MIDI controller, like a keyboard, and I can control whatever sample, whatever kind of MIDI instrument I bring up. So I'm playing around with this Xenology, this Roland plugin at the moment, and it makes it sound like that. It's so good. And we're just rolling through some presets. Orchestra. Oh, it's huge. Oh, let's take him with his ship landing, and we'll score him taking off. I'm really playing. I'm playing very little sometimes. I'm just playing one note and sometimes just a third. That's just a third, minor third. In fact, you could do it like that. The little bend is amazing. I mean, we're just getting started with this is the first plugin we've tried. Where I think it's going to be interesting. That's not fun. That's some of them won't work. Yeah. And some of them don't track as well as other. I like the Orchestra too. I think we should note down the Orchestra. I think number 1, so this is where I need a piece of paper. We need to I see this taking off into space. This is where it gets good. I mean, look at this. Oops. This game is crazy. So we might score it flying to this planet. Xenology. I think we definitely got to say number 1 and number 21. Sorry, no. Which was Orchestra? Number 20. I'm a fan of Orchestra too. Let's go back to Orchestra for a second while he takes off onto this planet. Off this planet, sorry. Okay, let's go there. Let's say, hello, some guy who is tired. Love the plucky ringtone from earlier. I'll have to go back and find the plucky ringtone. Let me just... as I hold it, and I can mess with the cutoff here, which is great. So if I actually play it, if I hold a chord with my with my left hand, and then move the mouse to play with the cutoff, I can actually get that to manipulate. Whoa! Try that again. Okay. Gladys could rock a bit of Orchestra during the Daily Doom reports. Do you know what would be fun if I brought up a clip of Gladys doing the Daily Report and played that behind it? That would be fun. Some guy who was tired. The plucky ringtone one from earlier. Which one was the plucky ringtone one? This one? Was it this one? I think it might be this one. Does it track? It tracks pretty well. Huh. Jimmy! Hey, buddy. It tracks really well, doesn't it, actually? I mean, that's not flying to a new planet. That's more exploring. We need some, and this planet is too dark, too messed up. Something a little bit more. Maybe playing on an ice planet. Yeah. Yeah, it tracks sometimes, but then again, I've got to stop playing it like a normal guitar. You've almost got to not. Good for meeting a friendly alien. I absolutely agree. Nostalgic. Yeah, it's weird. You got to not play it like a normal guitar, as in it doesn't like vibrato. It doesn't like vibrato. Analog atmosphere. This might track well. We've got some delay happening. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. Juno Polystack. Very warm. That's kind of cool though. It's kind of appropriately moody. Synth edge. Oh, very percussive. Now that's where you could actually have some fun. Oh, if I can control the resonance on the strings. But it's kind of where am I? It's a little bit too slappy. Future Poly. Oh, that's cool. Okay. Now we're talking. Alien exploring. Yeah, I actually really like Future Poly, number 27. Number 27. That's just got a really... Actually, Jimmy's one before, I did like the Pluck too. That was number 16, I think. Oh, so we've got an enemy encounter. We've got an enemy encounter. So we need something darker. Can I get like a... Track the open string. It's not dark enough. Still not dark. Maybe this tone is just... it's just a bit too... We'll pause it there. We need something for the enemy encounter. Oh! No, I want to bring back this orchestra. It does not track the blues scale well. But Geordie, so let me talk you through what we're doing here. Essentially, I've got a guitar plugged into an interface, nice and clean, easy peasy. The guitar on its own, if we just turn off everything, it's just that, right? It's just a it's just a standard electric guitar, right? Clockwork Orange. Yeah, it was close to being Clockwork Orange. And so then what we're doing is to recreate this, you then, on the electric guitar channel, you load up this plugin called Midi Guitar 2. And this basically turns the guitar into a MIDI trigger device, like a MIDI keyboard. And MIDI, for those of you who don't know, is the way we muck around with virtual instruments. So, you know, you can get great synths, you can get great orchestral packages, drum packages, but we trigger them with MIDI, or it's hard to actually explain what MIDI is. It's electronic information in your recording software, in your DAW. And so then once you've loaded up this instrument, Midi Guitar 2, or this plugin, you then load up whatever synth or whatever VST you like. And so I would have to play it something, I'd have to do it as something, yeah. This is where you're gonna gotta find some. Something like that. Something that we can play slow enough so it tracks. Why aren't you tracking now? Okay, it doesn't like. Doesn't like. That's a pretty great sound, especially on the low bass strings. Just doesn't. Some of these track, you know, when I say track, oh, heliosphere. Let me get that a bit more over there. I'm going out of screen. Doesn't track the bend. Pretty. Ooh. The slow sleeper. Yeah, very Doctor Who. Yeah. Let's stay in the Doctor Who territory. The slow sleeper is that's pretty fun. Clean me? Sorry. Okay, so let's pull up a different let's see how this thing tracks with a completely different plugin. So like I was saying before, this instrument 2 here, you can pull up anything you like. The Xenology is what we've been playing with, but you've got brass. The concerto, actually, this is fun. Okay. So if we get, anthology here. Okay, what's this going to do? No, that's a synth. I don't want that. Remove the LAU. Yes, remove that. Blip blop. This could be fun. Okay, hang on. Just going to go back to 128. You've got to... It sometimes gets a little bit sticky with the preferences, so I find just going back and forth. Oh, that's cool. Now this could track nicely, but potentially. Yeah. So if you hit it hard, it bends. Now what I've just done there is it's actually recorded the MIDI. It's recorded the MIDI. It hasn't recorded the original waveform, but that means we can play. And of course we can we can mess with it. We can mess with it on the fly. We can mess with the instrument we just pulled up. We can trigger all sorts of things. So pulse bit. So I don't save preset. What's a pulse jumper? Well, that's fun. Where does that? Oh, that does not like chords though. Pulse jumper. Pulse space. Sure. These are really kind of jeez. So this is following an LFO over here. If we change that to, yeah. So it was following, yeah, wow. Crazy. Pulse sweep down. Quite a nice sound. Little pulse. So now we've changed the instrument that MIDI we just recorded. So the great thing about MIDI information is that this MIDI information we just recorded here, we could essentially, so if I double click on this, you can see it. If I double click on it, you can see it down here. This is the MIDI information. These are the notes. And the way MIDI information works is that we could load anything into that. We could load a mellotron, a vintage mellotron. Check this out. I mean, that's there's some little laggy issues if I quantum. there catches. And so that little riff here, I'm just going to take those ones. Okay, so if we just tidy. Tidy up those little blips. And so there we've got, I mean, that's cool, right? So I can essentially take that bit there, take that whole thing, and say, let's just chop that there, and now we could essentially loop that. Yeah, and what's great about this Mellotron plugin is you can basically change. Yeah, the Mellotron's great. Is there a theremin? Yeah, there is a theremin, but not a theremin built into. It's just the lap slide's the theremin. I'll pull out the lap slide at some point. But this is just a great, if we change this sound, so instead of 3 violins, we go to a male choir here. We've got a boys choir on the left, actually, so let's go brass. So what's also really cool, and this is where we'll build on this riff in a second, but that bend we just did, if we go into something called touch mode, so over here we're in read mode, but if I go into touch mode and I play this and bend this switcher here switches between the boys choir sound and the brass sound. If I slowly bend it across as we're playing, it will write that into the track, right? And so then that gets written into this track. If I pull up this this curve here, Smart Controls Mellotron, it's the pitch blend. No, it's not. It's just the blend. It's just the blends, layer blend. So that's what we just wrote in. That's such a great the Mellotron is such a cool sound. Yeah. And it seems to be tracking quite well. It's missing a few notes. Tracks pretty well. I mean, I'm not a very fast player. If Peter Northcott was here, we'd be in trouble. This would not be tracking. But luckily, I can just play at a speed that is trackable. So, what can we... I think we should try and we should try and put something around this. And what I'll do is I'll go back to. Actually, I'll just turn automation off. Instrument 2. I now need a new instrument. And instead of the mellotron, let's go back to the blip-lop. Actually, you know what? We're in synth mode, but let's just get some. We'll get some drums loaded quickly. Oh. So I'm not actually. I can do that. You can play drums with this plugin as well. But yeah, it's a little bit. This is one of those areas where you would. So this has got a what? An autopsy kit. It's got some cool boom. So if we just lay down that groove, sort of just laying down something that is, again, a backbeat or a beat that we can work to. It's a little on the loud side. We'll take that part there, cut that there. And so he's landed. What's he doing here? He's flying. Yeah, it's kind of like, this is kind of like he means business music. That's how I hear this kind of music. He's on a mission of some kind. He means business. Don't mess with him. It's that kind of groove. Now what we can do is go back to our MIDI guitar plugin. Pull up. So we said we weren't going to go. I just want to pull up Xenology one more time, and we'll pull out Orchestra because Nostalgic's a fan of Orchestra. There it is. Look at that. Is it too much? I'll just give it something up a little high before I go low. I played an E. Oh, so I've got to go to a... Oh, okay, so that'd work well. Yes, Orchestra is good. I'm with you there, Nostalgic. It is just fun. So if we lay down some chords for this, let me just play around with some harmony again. So. I mean, it's pretty, yeah, that's a pretty fun, I'm sort of playing around a G minor there, messing with the B flat, the relative minor, C sharp minor, but then that big E major comes in completely out of key, and it just feels good. So let's record that. The problem with that whole thing, I really do like that as a little mess around, but I think we've got to move it earlier. I think because by the time he lands on the station, it's got to be done. It's kind of like this is the getting to the planet music. So let's move it. Let's move it and find an appropriate endpoint. Yeah, so like that. That would be perfect. Okay. So take off. That works nicely for that little part of the scene. Yeah, I think Orchestra is an absolute winner. So again, that's part of the Zen. Look, it's still just going. What's incredible about it is that even as a single note, it sounds incredible. Does that little bend, that little kick. It's such a great That is such a great find, that sound. Okay. What would be fun is to go back to... okay, so let's create a new sound. So the way this works too is that every time... I should actually name these Orchestra. And I should probably change the color. So we can identify them. Orchestra's probably... It's a deep red, or maybe it's a I don't know, a purple. We'll make it a purple. Color regions by track. We can leave the kit as green, and I think we'll make the Mellotron. Mellotron feels like it should be yellow, I think. Assign track color. That's right. We'll go yellow. Okay. That's going to make it easier for us to actually spot what's going on. Anytime you go back up to this pink track, this electric guitar track, which is our main track, and add a new instrument. Oh, no, not that new instrument. Add a new MIDI instrument. You get it automatically triggers that channel. It automatically just knows that that's what it's supposed to do because it's the next one in the system. The concerto. Were we playing with the concerto? Yeah, we were playing with the concerto. The blips. Oops. Okay. It's done that thing again. 256. Okay, that's better. Okay, so where are we at with the concerto? We were playing with the blip blop. Blip blop, blip blop. Okay, so this is again part of the Roland Cloud series. And the blip blop, what have we got here? We've got so many things. So many things. Tri keys, tri bit. Saw generator, saw uppercut. Sounds nasty. It tracks pretty well. Tracks pretty well. But one of the things I want to start trying. Oh, tripad. What I want to try and do is actually go back to that's a bit nasty. We want something that's a bit, it's synthy, but nothing too Square Popo. Square Popo, they've got some great names. Oh. Wow. Now that could be fun. Okay. So on this track, if we put an arpeggiator, and what I want to see is how well will it hold the... Okay, it's going to hold it pretty well. Now let's just take the top end off a little. Okay, so if we're playing along with that kind of... I kind of like that groove. track. So I've actually got to hit it quite. I've got to hit it quite hard. So if I can do that with fingers. And one of the things you can do with this is actually go to the MIDI guitar. It's got a noise gate. Yeah, okay, so. Oh. Okay, so the noise gate, if I turn the noise gate down, so that's basically dictating what goes through and what doesn't. So if I turn it right down, what happens? Yeah. Yeah, it's actually worse. And maybe it's that synth. What if we try a different sound? Whirly bites. Oh, that's cool. And we could even get a bit crazy with it. We could even put a delay on this as well. Would that be too much? It doesn't matter. We could just put a tape delay on something that's not or a stereo delay, tape delay, stereo delay. Let's see what goes on here. Yeah, that's cool. That's going to cover. Jimmy, is this getting silly? Trying to use a guitar to trigger all this different stuff? I don't know. But silly is sometimes fun. Okay, I'm going to try and record that. Interestingly, I'm picking it quite high, and I wonder if it might be a tuning thing, because I might have gone out of tune without hearing it because it's triggering. It has a guitar tuner, polytuner, which is great. Now is it going to pick it up? That's the question. Are you going to pick it up? Hello, polytuner. Tool. Hello. Okay, not picking it up. That's interesting. So, in that case, we will go back to here and maybe because it wasn't on. Okay. Let's go to polytuner. Let's turn this off. Hey Jimmy, I just want to say again, that was really very beautiful what you sent through before. Jimmy, who is some guy who is tired, has got a new track that is just beautiful. Beautiful guitars, beautiful voice. Really lovely. Yeah, that top. So the issue is still trying to get it. The issue with this is always trying to get it to track and track cleanly. So that was tracking. That was tracking. One of the other things we should do is in the preferences, and I always forget to do this. Change the MIDI chase. Put that on. It's so frustrating. Okay, so if we come back. It tracked the G minor fine and it tracked the D fine. It did not like the F. So let's try that again and see if we can get that to actually track properly. Yeah. Gotta hit it hard, get it to sustain. Okay. Now, what's interesting there is it's also recorded the guitar. As in just on. Or has it? Huh, interesting. Oh, it won't play it. Now, what's cool about that is we could then put some plugins on that. So the electric guitar sound by itself, if we come down here and say, well, first of all, we've got a little bit of reverb on it, but let's put like a, let's dirty it up with some sound toys, some decapitator. So if we put this on it, it's interesting. I actually had to hit it so hard, like I was plucking it so hard. I was bending it out of tune. You would never normally, I mean, it's gone a little bit out of tune anyway. But I would never normally have to hit it that hard. So that's one of the drawbacks that I might be able to deal with in the settings. We could take that down. We could also do something instead of decapitator. We could put something else like Filter Freak. Filter Freak, again, this is part of the Sound Toys package. It's such a great. Is it gonna let me? Oh yeah. That's just too much fun. So we're gonna take some tops off it because it's a bit nasty. now we really should bring Orchestra back. We should bring Orchestra back. Because, filthy. Yeah, it is filthy. I don't know why it got so filthy. We're just going where it takes us. Let's bring back Orchestra. Oh, now actually, I've got to take off Filter Freak. And I've got to get this to. Actually, is that going to work? Hello, Orchestra, come back to me. Where's Orchestra gone? Hello. I wonder if that's because... Oh, it's because we had to turn that off. Okay. Okay, so we've got a G minor chord, as well as I was playing before with G minor, a D. Oh yeah. And then the F to the A. This is gonna be way too much fun. We're gonna need a second pass at this. Yeah, we're gonna need a second pass at this. Did I just loop that correctly? I think so. Oh, it's because that one overlaps. Okay, so let's loop these. Orchestra action happening. First of all, I think we'll lay down the high part. I'll duplicate that part, although I could do it here. Oh yeah, I'll do it there for sure. Whoops. It's recording on the wrong part. Record on here. Okay, that's the right thing. Now we just got to get the timing right. Orchestra is is way too much fun. If we now bring, what I want to do is I want to duplicate that track. Let's duplicate that track. We'll pull this down here. We'll take it away from there. And then on this track, we'll take off the MIDI guitar and we'll bring that back to filter free. We could bring back the Mellotron. Ooh. And I could actually just play that in with keyboard, something nice. Oh, it's still pulsing. Stop pulsing. Something it's just one. What am I doing? I'm trying to find G minor, something in G. And then we want something in D major. So really we want, we want this. Yeah. That would be cool. And then we can basically go to F major so we can do the the D minor thing. Do we want to then go down to the F major? So if we're... Yeah. And then go... That's what we can do. What was I saying? I've got to try and remember what I was trying to do now. Yeah. Now that sounds whack by itself, but when we actually record it. Do there, the part was right, but you notice that I had a velocity issue. I had a velocity issue on that one, and it could all come down in velocity actually a little bit more subtle. Yeah, it could all be a little bit more subtle. So let's go back to where we were with this. So that's pretty fun. That Orchestra is fantastic. The main thing we're experimenting with today is this idea of the MIDI plug-in on the guitar, and turning an electric guitar into a MIDI controller, essentially, an alternative to the keyboard. And it's great because if you're a guitarist, there are all these different patterns you want to play, and there are all these different shapes, and you know, they're not, unless you're an accomplished keyboard player, they're not necessarily available to you, or they're difficult to get your hands around. So being able to turn the guitar into something other than a guitar, into all of these different instruments, is phenomenal. And if we sort of load up another software instrument, and let's go something completely different. We've played around with the Roland Cloud stuff. That's been fun. But the Spitfire audio, you know, okay, so this could be interesting. The Spitfire audio BBC Orchestra. And these are real sounding instruments. These aren't synths. So it's going to be a different thing. Now I've got to make sure it's triggered. Is it triggered? Is it triggered? Are you triggered? There we go. Didn't track that. Maybe it works better with pizzicato. Yeah, possibly. No, it's not grabbing it. And so this is also interesting to see. Some plugins grab beautifully and some do not. Although before I throw that away, what about like the harp and so? They're the harp plucks, but they're quiet. Yeah, I'm really trying to dig into it. It takes a lot of hitting with those. The other thing that Spitfire Audio has is this Labs setup, which is, again, they're very generous. Spitfire Audio, they give you these free plugins, and they're really great sounding plugins. So here we have, what do we got? Percussion. Let's turn that up. But again, if you're going to play percussion, it feels more appropriate playing it on the keyboard. We're looking for things more like, what's a harmonic violin got for us? No, not really. It's not triggering it. Soft piano percussion. Trumpet field, which is a great sound, but I think it'll be a little bit too subtle. Tape orchestra, laps. It's actually got a lap steel on here. That's a nice sound. So we could find a nice exploring part. Let's find a nice exploring part. Something, okay. It's not triggering it when I play it. Why aren't you triggering it when I play it? It's really interesting how it doesn't. Does it have to be on the electric guitar? No. Okay. quite nice, that lap steel. Again, you've got to. So that's quite nice. And for that moment where it's really just looking around and surveying and exploring, that's quite a nice, that sort of. Resonance chaos. Resonance chaos. Same thing again. The Spitfire audio, the labs, some of these are tracking really nicely. Moon guitar. Wow. That is plucky. That is plucky. But this might actually... So this is one of those ones where, yeah. Okay, we'll track poly. This is where we can actually... doesn't like the low strings as much. But it will take the thirds. Take the chord string. So that's interesting that it will take that. It will do the thirds. It will do the double stops. Okay, just gonna have a quick break and come back and try. We'll try some more of those. We'll try some more of those MIDI plugins. If we can get them to load properly. That's always the challenge. Okay. So see you shortly. Okay. Back into the Logic session. And we've been playing around with No Man's Sky, which is just a fantastic sci-fi game. Very cinematic. It's got some great world building, and you essentially fly around different galaxies, landing on different planets. It's very non-violent as well. You don't engage with many enemies, which is a really nice change. It's not a combat game at all. It's an exploration game. You do a lot of mining for certain minerals to try and build things, different infrastructures, expanding your base. You're trying to uncover the secrets of some past that you can half remember, and it's really well written, beautifully written. But what we've been doing is mucking around and I might go back to this planet here. We've been mucking around with this plugin called the where is it? The Midi Guitar plugin. And it does exactly what it sounds like. It turns your guitar into a MIDI controller. And so in doing that, oh, just like that. Where I think this is actually really fun. So I've got the filter freak on there. If we put a delay on this, if we I'm just interested in playing around with a few different ideas. One of them being, so you've got this great plugin that comes with Logic called the Delay Designer. And if we go into simple pitch shifted, that's all good and well. The warped ones are pretty crazy. Up, down. I mean, it's really out there. And it really messes with. That's cool. That's out of the range of the instrument. It's a shame it's out of the range. Let's pull up the Labs instrument. What is that? The Moon Guitar. It's too low for the Moon Guitar. Let's go with the... What's the auto harp sound like? Plucked. Oh. Pretty creepy. Pretty creepy. Great for a horror score. Rare groove piano. I've never played with this one. No, it's not catching it. Again, some of these don't catch. Oh. one is interesting. Fever Dream. Fever Dream. Wow. Okay. So what we're doing here is we're triggering, and for anyone who's watching, welcome, and hope you're having a good Friday. I am playing around with this Midi guitar plugin, which essentially converts this electric guitar or any electric guitar into a MIDI controller. And what we're doing here is we're pulling up different instruments, such as a pipe organ. Let's try that. What's that going to sound like? Oh, beautiful. Listen to that. I mean, that's pretty eerie. Yeah, that's pretty eerie. That could track well. Again, no. Not really. The instruments with the softer sounds don't track as well as the others, such as the charango. You would think would track. Oh goodness, that is loud. And we have got a delay. We've got a delay on it, so we should just take that delay off. Not my favorite sound. The mandolin's cool. The opia, I don't know what the opia is. Actually, I think that's... Oh, it's sound effects. Oh, yeah. Watermelon sauce. Hey, Tobes. Yeah, you're here for some synth. Tell me what you think of this idea, right? Turning the electric guitar into a synth. Is it just lazy? I'm going to go back. Tundra Atmos. I'm gonna close down the labs. The labs is a little bit subtle. I tell you where this does get interesting is when you go and you get a really like a serious synth, like well, Serum. Serum's a pretty serious synth. Okay, now this is generally loud too. So let's just start off with some pad sounds. So if we take one of the pads, Serenity. Okay. Oh, yep. And I'm just playing tenths there. I'm playing the root and the third above the octave, so it's got a nice spread to it. That's a pretty great pad. What else have they got? A slow pad, a whispering voice. That's got a lot going on. And then if we take a lead sound, Birth of Electro, that's got to be fun, right? Ooh, how's that going to track? Weird plucky sound. Sad melody. Oh. Wow, it does a pretty good job of the bend. And the delay on that is huge. Yeah, I reckon this is endless fun. I mean, you can pretty much load up any VST. Plucked. I'm looking for something that lets us track beepy ting. That could be. No. Nothing special. Where's the delay on all? They've all got delays on them. Where's the delay on this sucker? The effects, the instrument from Dishonored. Oh my goodness. What was the instrument for, what was that called again? Was it a zither? Was it a zither? I think it was a zither. Let's go hunting. I think it was a zither. Native instruments. I mean, if we pull up Contact, we're going to have a whole lot of stuff to play with. Because we've got the factory library, the session horns. This would be interesting. I love the idea of writing session horn parts. Yeah, that one, zither. But I don't. Yeah. Okay. It's a little bit. Oh, it's still going. The session horns sound okay. The unicorder is always fun. The Middle East stuff is fun. Do we have melodic and oud? Oh, I've always wanted to own an. Oh yeah. Doesn't track. Getting it to track, that's the key. Okay, so I need a zither. I need a modular icons. Hang on. Before I do that, Toby, I'll find the zither. I will find one. But I've got to try Cloud Supply because it just looks like too much fun. Cloud Supply. Look at this beast. Oh. Let's go back to No Man's Sky. Have you played this game, No Man's Sky? This is such a great game. To it. We can change the balance. Oh yeah. It tracks pretty well too. Huh. Wow, that does track pretty well. It's kind of almost like an organ. That does not at all fit No Man's Sky, but I do like that sound of the that kind of organ vibe. That's a great vibe. The pad stuff on these is always huge, and this is where I think it's really useful, especially if you've got a game where you're, like this game where you're, there's a lot of space travel. I mean, that's a beautiful sound. And I'm really just holding the one chord, the one tuner. Yeah, it's very sensitive. That is a fantastic low growling kind of bass end. Oh. Does using a slide affect the sound? Is it just picking up the pitch and the transit? Yeah, pretty much. And so it's interesting because, as you know as a guitarist, we're used to doing certain things like vibrato. So vibratoing the note doesn't help. In fact, you shouldn't do vibrato. And the wobble. So it's sort of it's really converting the signal into pitches that it then translates into MIDI information. That's pretty cool though. It does track a slide well. Yeah, but certain things it just doesn't track, like some hammer-ons. Yeah. Little side slips. But trying to do that as a little pull-off, it tracks that. Where is it? That wasn't what I was playing before. What was I playing before? I'm gonna try and record this and see. Maybe we can then get the zither onto it. We'll give that a go. Boom. Actually, I should. This feels like it could be dangerous. It does that kind of thing beautifully on some of those held. Yeah, on some of those held sort of bass notes. But see how it creates these little MIDI note artifacts. Creates a little run. Did it do it? Oh, it tried to do the run. It tried to track the chromatic run. So if we went, sure, let's just duplicate that, just so we can have something to loop. It doesn't feel dangerous enough. I feel like I need to get into more danger. Danger. This planet looks suitably dangerous. We'll drag this stuff over here. Yeah. Yeah, that looks suitably dangerous. Okay, cool. Where's that first note? That first note? Oh, come on. That's not what I wanted. Where'd it go? There's still let's go. Let's put that there. Let's cut that there. Yeah, so what we should do, close that for a second. We'll just tighten these up. Because I wasn't thinking I was going to move them. Okay, so we'll just tighten that up. And we'll repeat this. And say, okay, you go there, and then we can move it. I could have moved it, then repeated it, but let's go over it. This planet looks suitably, looks suitably dangerous. That's what I want. Okay, so then what we can do is, now that we've got that there, we can come back up to our MIDI controller and actually load in a new instrument. So if we go new external software, software instrument. Oh, see, I definitely don't have a zither built in, Tobes. That's the problem. I'm just trying to think what I have that's close. Let your grand slabs, no. No, I could do, I tell you what I could, oh, you know what we could do? I'll tell you what I'll do. Okay, so one of the things I do have, if I just go, if I load up Contact, I'll load up a Contact, and I'll drag an external instrument in, which will be, let's go with the external instruments name, audio software. So here's all the external instruments, Contact, third-party instruments. Do I have something like a zither in here? 8DO, Lumiere, Quarantine, VO pads. No. Piano Book has some cool stuff. Piano book has some great stuff. No zithers. I'm gonna find something. What about glockenspiels? Not quite as interesting. Kalimba? No, not quite as interesting. Harmonica, guitar, ebo. No, that's not as interesting. Oh, maybe that one. Hang on, where am I going? What's this one? Array. No. This one's. No, that's not it. All right, Tobes, I'm gonna have to find a zither. I'm gonna have to buy a zither plugin. It's the only way. Oh, unless clang. I've got one with clang. Silver lining, reverberated strings, and no, unstable guitar. Sonic Wastelands could be interesting. Let's play with Sonic Wastelands for a sec. Oh. Not particularly exciting at all. They do some nice stuff though. And the other one that is really beautiful, where is it? In my pads? No, not my RAViego. The one that does some great stuff, it actually might be Piano Book. The pads, this one. The Niu, however you say it, hits LFO. No, I want the LFO. Or soft pads, star pads. Yeah, this thing is stunning. And this would be nice for it's just a beautiful set of sound. And there's quite a delay actually because I've got the attack set. So if I pull the attack back, it might actually track. Oh, yeah. I've got one of those pedals. The polyoctave pedals. Yeah. It's a Pog. I'm not sure if that one's a Pog too. I'll check it out on Facebook in a sec. I mean, that's a great low sound. So that new is very cool. What would be great? No. What would be great is to actually get hybrid keys do some interesting things. Butch Vig drums, ethereal, analog dreams could be appropriate. What I want. Something with a lead, bright glamour. Oh, okay. Oh, that's very. That delay is, still a little. Why is there still a delay on it? Not quite the sound. Not quite the sound. Plux, plux, plux. Occasional sentience. Oh. And so you can actually go into the sequence of this and see what's it doing. But it should be, there's actually a, turn the sequence off. Yeah, turn the sequence off and it's just a bit nasty. Oh, the other thing we can do is, and I can't believe I didn't think of this before, Massive X, which is, again, for this kind of sound design or this kind of, game is an incredible set of sounds. Piano keys, plucked strings. Well, that's the default, so that's not nice. Wisdom Oracle. That's kind of nice. From a game point of view. Too much latency. Bowed strings. What have we got? Bowed strings. Al dente Hollywood. Oh, now we're talking. That is a cool sound, but that feels like it could. Let's jump over to here. What's the tempo? So it's sort of almost like a. What's this kit we've got? Now we need a different kit. We've got battery loaded. We need something completely different. Alias kit. That could be cool. For an alien landscape. And what we can do is obviously not play that all the way through because that would just get boring. But we can mess with it. We'll tighten it up a little. Where'd that one go? Oh, it is there. Okay, cool. And if we add a little verb to that. And that is way too. And so what we'll do is we'll replicate that, and put some sort of percussion in there as well. And what I think would be cool as a percussion, I mean, all those noises are pretty nasty. So instead of the rest of the kit, why don't we just go with the the old Ultrabeat drum machine, which is actually really fun. Okay, but first we want to go into Ultrabeat, have a quick mess around. Oh, that's kind of appropriately. And what we want to do as a little extra is we want to do a little delay on there. And I think the delay we want, let's go stereo delay. We'll go left quarter and we'll just sort of something with a bit of mystery. Okay, so we'll start off with that one. What happened there? Oh, the loop didn't go properly. Okay. Okay. And then it's supposed to go there. So now we can come back in, and I think that's kind of from an appropriately mysterious kind of scene point of view. Oh, where have I gone? Come back out, there it is. I mean, this is when we're on a planet that looks pretty hostile. And so now we can come back down to our guitar and our that's the kind of vibe we want. And what might even be just, oh no, what might be also just a nice little maneuver at this point is to go percussion. Actually, no. Let's not even do that. No, we'll just leave it as is. Okay. Okay. Oh, okay, it's actually... Since So if we switch it to C instead of G, which we're in, C minor. We'll do that. We'll do that. That's a great sound. What is that we've got playing? That's the Massive X patch, Al Dente Hollywood. What a great sound. And again, I'm just triggering it with a bar chord where I'm picking the inside strings. What would be really fun is if we sent that to a reverb that was kind of out of control. So if we send that to Valhalla Supermassive, oh, that could get silly. Okay. Just more interesting. Maybe even starting off with So that is a great sound as well. The massive X, those pads. The thing that I think I've learned from today is that the pads trigger beautifully, especially when you're holding a bar chord or something with a lot of richness. And some of the plucky sounds work well also, some of them, but not all of them. So some of the horns with the sharp edge work well. The strings, some of them worked okay, but they also seem to have a bit of a delay. And so it's about trying to find, I think this is a great tool. This is an amazing tool, especially if you struggle playing keyboard well and you want to try and get some certain ideas out. I mean, there are certain inversions that we play on guitar as well that we wouldn't necessarily play on piano, and vice versa. But I think this, trying to find the instruments that trigger well and trying to find the ones that don't trigger well, that's kind of half the battle. Toby, I'll show you the Zenology we were playing with at the beginning was it the blip? Oh, I did like the blip flop. Oh, and it does this thing. Okay. This concerto, this is part of the Roland package. This has a lot of sounds. Wow. Blip blop drums, strings pitch fi, slow fi, slap bit bass. That is laggy though. Tracks okay. A little bit of a delay. Yeah, a little bit of a delay. That's okay. The mod bells, the square fantasy. Square fantasy. Oh, that's cool. And that seems to. Okay. Yeah, it is. It's awesome. Tobes, there's your answer. It tracks the slide on this. Some instruments track the slide. Haha. Yeah, so that tracks the slide. So that could be fun, especially if we. Hearing it compared to and next to the lushness of Massive X, it sounds a bit funny. But where I reckon these sounds are really great. I mean, there's so much speed. Oh, okay. So is that going to be? can change that to mono. And if I bring the speed back, it's changing it down in milliseconds. What if I go down to, oh, use that too. So that is that's catching. It's actually catching the hammer on. Yeah, that's doing a pretty good job. I mean, it's not gonna, yeah. It's not gonna grab all the articulations, superbly. But where I think these are really great is when you mess with, other things like arpeggiation and things like that. So if we go into MIDI effects, why don't we just try something fun like Cthulhu? Cthulhu is fun. It's a different section. It's not going to work over there, but it might work over here. And what we might just go into some art presets. 3 steps. What's the 3 steps? Oh yeah. So the triplet. Yeah. Endless fun. The Roland package in general. So this is the Blip Blop. The Blip Blop package. I love that Blip Blop. But if we go back out, don't save that. If you go back out, you've got 2 others that come with it. Remove the instrument, yes. You've got Terra Guitar, which is kind of like a guitar. So I don't want that one. And you've got the Anthology set in here, which I think this is more like yeah, this is like Stranger Things kind of, that kind of vibe. And if we go back to Cthulhu, there is some really fun stuff with Cthulhu. Icon diatonic. No. The house chords. No. That's boring. And instead of 3 steps, what we really want is triadic, this sort of thing. Except that we can then mess with these. And every time you have a repeat, we change it. So that could get fun, especially with this kind of sound. Fast string. What's that one going to be like? Hey Topes, thanks for checking in, bud. It was awesome seeing you. Yeah, come back and hang out anytime. Well, actually, come back and hang out Mondays and Fridays. That's when I'm going to be doing it. So yeah, great to see you. Take care of yourself and get some sleep. I'll play you a little arpeggiation music out. Oh, not when it cuts off. Too low to register. That's interesting. I do do like arpeggiation, but it kind of gets on your nerves at some point. So this is this fast string. Oh, that tracks too. Like a phaser. That's kind of cool. Yeah. It's nice for single note, and it holds well. If we change the cutoff, if we take the cutoff down, so it's kind of that. It's kind of that retro. Well, it's called Anthology 1985, so it's definitely that retro kind of thing. Bank to patch to this. I mean, there's so many presets, and of course we can mess with all the presets at another time. But that's what the harp sounds like. Discard. That's quite nice. I wonder if that'll... What we haven't tried so far is any kind of finger picking. So this will be interesting to see if this actually picks up. It does. It does. And if we go in and put some of that lovely... It was the other one really that what I was thinking. It's actually catching my thumb going onto the bass strings, which is yeah, I'm gonna have to have a play with this one because this has got some very nice sound, and it seems to track well on the single note. Sort of. Tron Blast. Kind of creepy. Creepy. You know, this guy's in trouble. This guy's in serious trouble, and it seems only appropriate we go back to the Orchestra. Only appropriate. What's going on? Yeah, he's in a pit trying to get himself out. Serious trouble. Okay. Orchestra returns. It does. I couldn't stay away from it. I felt it was only appropriate to begin, well, to end with the sound that I started with, and I think that is my favorite sound of the day. Although, I don't know if you heard the one before Nostalgic, but this is a pretty great sound. This is from Massive X. The al dente Hollywood strings. I mean, that's huge. That's enormous. It's almost too much. I've actually got to play it and then take my hand off quite quickly. Or not at all. Now it's not working. You like the edginess of the saw? We can mess with the saw here. We can actually we can do a bunch of things here to change. I mean, look, this I learned how to use this briefly when I got it, and then I'm out of touch with it, and it is a slightly intimidating interface. The exciter. No, I don't want the exciter. I don't want that one either. LP off. No, iPod 3 amp. Pan. Man, it's just. Oh, hang on. This is what I want. Quadrant neutral. Quadrant verb. I want to change that to something else, and I don't want EQ. I wanted to add it to something else. Oh my god. Yeah, that's a mess. I'm gonna have to learn how to use this again. The comb filter. Maybe the Asimov. No, it's not. It's not edgy enough. It's not edgy enough. We've decided we like Orchestra. Orchestra is the sound of the day. Doesn't like it when I tip the guitar up. I agree. There is. It's actually, it's terrifying down low. It's kind of like, even and just as a single bass note. You know, that's got some edge to it. But then when you put some other notes with it. And if we take it up high, see, I think that's quite, I mean, that sequence there is quite beautiful. And even with this, it sounds, you know. Goes back to dark. Yeah, lift off. And if we hit the harmonics, oh, that's fun. Totally. It's perfect for the milestone complete. I should come back to the where's the milestone complete? I actually had this, which was now I'm gonna have to mute it. I'm gonna have to mute it and play and go back to Orchestra. Still dark. Let's take it lighter. This is where it gets tragic when he falls into the pit. And that, I think, is it for me. What are we at? 3:08. I got to go and do something with one of my children so they don't go stir crazy. Thanks for hanging in there, guys. Thanks for indulging me while I pour through banks of presets and fun virtual instruments. That was a lot of fun, though. And this, I think I'm going to have to bring... Certainly, I'm going to have to bring back Orchestra for nostalgic, because... we haven't seen the last of that instrument. Geordie, thank you for hanging out. Nostalgic, as always, thank you for hanging out. Tobes, thanks for checking in. Anyone else who was watching, thank you. Hope you enjoyed the mucking around and the experimentation. I gotta stop hitting that. And I'll see you hopefully on Monday. Enjoy your weekend.